Segment 2. One of my favorite books that I've read in recent years. And when I say recent, I'm talking about like the last decade. It's been over a decade since this one dropped. Wow. I'm washed, bro. This thing came out 15 years ago, bro. Jeez. If you want a good series of comic books, do yourself a favor and go pick up whatever trades you can find of Transformers when they were in IDW universe. That is some of the best world building, some of the best character development that you're ever going to see. They mix comedy, drama, interpersonal relationships, extreme and horrific violence. Like it was like the perfect mix of everything. And so I'm going to give you a jumping on point. If you want an entry point into the amazing world of the IDW Transformers universe, Last Stand of the Wreckers. It was a 2010 5-issue miniseries by James Roberts and Nick Roche. An amazing story. It's the perfect entry point if you're looking for something that's not Marvel or DC and you're looking for good, really good stories where you can invest in the characters and stuff. I can strongly suggest go find the trades of anything that was written for Transformers in the IDW universe. It was amazing. Last Stand of the Records is your jumping on point because that's the one that got me into it. Okay. So, and I'm doing this segment because I low-key wanted to talk about Overlord because Overlord is my favorite villain, bar none. Outside of Doctor Doom, Overlord's one of my favorite villains that's ever been written in a comic book. And this is just, I mean, we're talking about something from 15 years ago that really established his character, but he's still one of my favorite villains. And when I get done, hopefully you'll want to follow up on it. Last Stand of the Records. In the in-universe, the Wreckers are essentially the Suicide Squad for the Autobots. They go in to do the impossible missions where they know that there's a good chance that they won't survive. In the Transformers universe, the IDW Transformers universe, death is an ongoing thing. Threat of death. Autobots get killed all the time. Decepticons get killed all the time in horrific ways. And some of your favorites get really, really jacked up in those books. But the Wreckers are Autobot commandos. They are the group of Autobots who have expertise in engineering, but they're built as combat specialists. A lot of the Wreckers, it's just assumed that their term of service in the Wreckers, you're going to get killed. And do yourself a favor, actually go to some of these wikis and you could actually fill in a lot of information, a lot of gaps. The Wreckers I'm talking about is going to be the IDW Wreckers. So that's exclusive to that. But they are the ones that you call in when success is non-existent. They are, for a long time, they were just a rumor in the Autobots because it doesn't feel right because they take on extreme missions. They have a low survival rate. According to the IDW books, their survival rate of missions is about 38 to 42%. If you get put into the Wreckers, there's a good chance you ain't going to make it back home. They are the ones that have been dishonorably discharged. They are the wild cards. They have a code, but they are the Suicide Squad of the Autobots. It's a mix of vets. And so some of the roster has been Springer, Cup, Perceptor. And then you have Iron Fist, Rotor Storm, Pyro, Guzzle. The most consistent wrecker that you're going to find is like Springer. Springer's been the one that's been consistently known and the most ongoing one. The thing that was dope about the IDW Transformers universe is the Decepticons weren't inherently bad. The Autobots weren't inherently good. Matter of fact, I don't know if it was Iron Fist or Impactor. I think it was Impactor that Springer had issues with. There were Autobots that were kind of evil. Like Prowl was kind of, if we had like the best analog I can come up with Prowl was kind of Beast. Like Beast in Krakoa era of the X-Men, where Beast is not a nice person and he will absolutely kill you. But he's doing it for his cause. Prowl was kind of that way. Prowl was involved in some dark shit in the Transformers universe. Megatron ended up becoming an Autobot and renouncing the Decepticon ways. Like the lines of good and evil are blurred, and one of the things is the thing that you're aware of is this war has been going on for 5 million years between the Autobots and Decepticons, and their entire galaxies that have fallen victim to it. And so initially it was Prime and Megatron meeting. Optimus Prime was a cop on Cybertron. Megatron was a gladiator in the arena, and they had a very strict caste system. Like, there's a lot of lore that goes into it. So I'm trying to give you enough connective tissue so that you go out and pursue this book on your own. You need to go pick up the IDW Transformers books. Go dabble in the IDW Transformers. I cannot stress that enough. Okay. So the idea of Last Stand of the Records was about presenting characters that were considered side characters and putting them in the forefront. Now, we're on to the main event. The main villain in this was Overlord. Overlord is the main villain of this. And the way to describe Overlord is, what if you could either use Sabretooth or Wolverine, depending on what their skeleton was. Let's give him an indestructible skeleton, a healing factor, enough armaments to strip a planet barren by himself on his dolo. And on top of that, his personality is like, he has the relentlessness of like Michael Myers or Jason with unbridled glee. Like, it's glee. The best way I can describe Overlord is gleeful killing. He is thrilled to fuck you up. He is thrilled to kill you. That's Overlord. It's the glee of like a Freddy Krueger or even a Pennywise. He's having a great time doing it. And it doesn't matter if you're an Autobot, doesn't matter if you're a Decepticon. He sees killing you as his art. It's the way he practices art. Dude even looks like Tim Curry, like the way they draw his face in the panels. He looks like Tim Curry in it. Crazy work. He's narcissistic, he's sadistic, and he represents a part of the Decepticons that they call the Phase Sixers. The Phase Sixers were invented by Megatron. The Phase Sixers are basically walking super weapons, and there's 6 of them. Walking WMDs. They're designed to finish planetary conquests. The ones that we know about are Black Shadow, who was Annihilator and indestructible until Overlord destructed him. That's why Overlord's such a badass, because he can kill other super weapons. Other ones, like Black Shadow, killed thousands of Autobots by himself in a war, and Overlord one-shotted him. But there's 6 shot. You remember he could transform into 6 different modes. He's considered the ultimate killing machine. The only one that could deal with him on the Autobot side was Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime put paws on him. Tarn, who is a zealot, he's more of a psychological weapon, but his power is horrifying. And then there's Overlord, who kills other Phase Sixers, and he's obsessed with proving himself to Megatron and not proving himself in a fight. Okay. So the setting of Last Stand of the Records, it takes place on Autobot prison planet that had been taken over by the Decepticons. They are nowhere is the planet? Garrus 9. Garrus 9 is basically a prison planet run by Autobots. The warden is Fortress Maximus, who is, by all intents and purposes, one of the heavy hitters. This is not the same Fortress Maximus that was like the giant toy that turned into a fortress. But the setting is Overlord is essentially taken over Garrus 9, and then Overlord is taking over the Decepticons there, and made it into a big gladiatorial pit where he's pitting the prisoners against one another. And they have to fight to the death. And then the winner gets the prize of fighting him to the death. And if you see Overlord in comic books, he's absolutely massive. He is a gigantic robot. And so, I mean, he's big enough that he can crush a regular sized Autobot underfoot. You know, rest in peace, Pipes. You didn't deserve that. You really, bro, you didn't, Pipes, you didn't deserve to go out like that. Overlord did you. I've never seen anybody get done like Pipes. Never seen anybody ever get done filthier than Pipes, bro. Maybe some of the things that the Decepticon Justice Division. See, do you see where I'm going with this? There's so much lore here. Like I said, I've never seen anybody get done filthier than Pipes by Overlord. It was absolutely awful work. Only people I've seen get done filthier was by the Decepticon Justice Division, who is Megatron's enforcers for people that defect against the Decepticon cause. And guess who was one of their targets? Overlord was one of their targets. And they messed up a lot of Autobots to get to Overlord. And I don't think they ever really caught up to him. There's a lot of lore here. Y'all got to actually go read the books. Like, there's so much lore here. And that's why I highly recommend the IDW Transformers series. There's so much. The world building is fantastic. So, let's run it down. And I'm trying not to get into too many spoilers because I want you to read this book. But long story short, Fortress Maximus versus Overlord. I almost feel like Overlord kind of got the drop on Fortress Maximus, but Overlord beats his ass and then humiliates him and then takes Fortress Maximus and throws his body to the prisoners for them to toy with him and torture him. But then he threatens them and says, and if anybody kills him before I get my hands on him, it's a rat for you and it's going to hurt. Demented stuff. The entire panel with Overlord just casually torturing Fortress Maximus. And robot on robot. If you thought, I mean, you're talking about all these robots or whatnot, this was bone chilling, bro. Like, it was terrifying. Last Stand of the Wreckers, the best way I could describe it was a survival horror comic book. Because the Wreckers have to go in against these insurmountable odds and defeat a Decepticon super weapon. And then try to live to tell the tale. And the 5 issues really build up. You really do get connected with these characters. And it does hurt when some of them do not make it. They don't survive the battle. Like I said, there's real stakes. Anybody can die. And Overlord isn't just like a villain. He's a force of nature in this book. But it's a force of nature in the very best way possible because he's charismatic. He's having a great time doing it. And he's terrifying. Overlord is a terrifying villain. And not terrifying in the Megatron way. Megatron is brutal because of his belief in that series was peace through tyranny. And he strongly believed that the only way for them to achieve peace on a galactic scale was to be a tyrant and control the entire universe. And it's peace through tyranny. It was through conquest. Once the Decepticons ruled everything, then there was going to be peace. But Megatron started out, liberating a lot of Cybertronians from those gladiatorial pits and fighting for equal rights. And him and Optimus Prime fought for equal rights on Cybertron until they got at odds with one another about the direction of the planet at that point. It's a deep, deep dive into world building lore, and it's almost a masterclass in it. Like, you don't see that level of world building in books anymore because a lot of the properties are really already established and they don't really give new room for new characters to build their own worlds. That's why I get so excited about stuff like Absolute Batman, where I get to experience some world building. The Immortal Weapons Batman. Like, I'm not even a huge Batman fan, but these are some of the most entertaining books. The revamp of the new Ultimates line. There's world building going on. We're establishing lore here and reimagining things in different ways. And I'm really excited about it. I can't recommend the IDW Transformer universe enough. And if you're going to get into it on my recommendation, I strongly, strongly suggest you start with Last Stand of the Wreckers. Anybody can die. Overlord is an entertaining force of nature. The themes are sacrifice and expendability, and they deal with trauma. They talk about trauma in that book. An amazing book. Go collect it. One of the best. It's not even one of the best Transformer stories ever told. It's one of the best comic books I've ever read in my life. Last Stand of the Wreckers is amazing. Highly recommend it to anybody.